Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you all so much for being here. It may be impossible to talk about Antioch in a way that feels comprehensive, that celebrates the richest, best 4 years of my life, without erasing the fear and the disappointment and the loneliness. It just feels impossible to truly capture it all, to truly honor what we did here. We didn't just go to college at Antioch. We took a thing that barely existed and we dreamed it into being. In the fall of 2012, 75 brand new Antiochians came to a school with 30 enrolled students, 12 faculty, 1 academic building, a school without accreditation, without student support services, without a student union, without a course catalog, without a nurse or counseling services, without a wellness center. It was immediately apparent that no one had a clue what they were doing. But as Antiochians are known to do, we jumped. We trusted the thousands of alumni who refused to let Antioch be lost to history. And almost without conversation, rebuilding this great American college became our shared mission. The glue that's held us together when it felt like maybe nothing else could. And I don't know about any of y'all, but I had no idea how hard it was going to be. And here we are 4 years later, and the truth is Antioch is still so incomplete. And I've wondered if we didn't do enough. We do have a wellness center now, and counselors, and even a course catalog, but in so many ways, Antioch still falls short of that vision that we have. We have watched as precious members of our community leave, and we have not listened hard enough when they tell us why. We haven't done enough for those we say we are here to serve: first-generation students, students of color, queer students. It simply is not enough to talk about social justice, to preach about classroom co-op and community or victories for humanity. We wanted to build an Antioch that values a varied, rigorous, innovative education, one that honors experience and wisdom over grades and academic accolades. We wanted boot camp for the revolution. And it's heartbreaking to realize that this thing we tried to build is still so flawed. But what I've realized is that feeling like a failure or like maybe you haven't done enough, I think that might be part of it. As Antiochians, we are unable to settle. We are activated. We are ready to spring into action when crisis or injustice present themselves. We are thinkers and doers. We share an unapologetic refusal to accept things the way they are. Antioch demands a lot of us, and we, the community, we demand a lot of Antioch. This institution has values I hope we won't compromise. A fierce commitment to radical individuality, a dedication to do what's right, especially when it is unpopular, and an intolerance for dangerous and oppressive ideas. These commitments have been the pillars of my Antioch education. And it is risky to stand for radical commitments. I fear we may have forgotten that these commitments are the reason that Antioch is relevant. It is this Antioch education, this flawed, broken Antioch education, that has taught me to dig in my heels and demand that we honor these values and do better. Antioch is a 165-year-old startup, y'all. And this heartbreaking mess of a college will never be finished, because Antiochians will never stop pushing. During our 4 years here, Antioch hasn't been that impressive on paper, because on basically all of the quantifiable criteria, Antioch just doesn't compare to any other college. That's because Antioch is the stuff that you can't measure or distill. Antioch is the conversation I have with Birch chefs Jared, Patty, and Sarah on an afternoon in the dining hall. Antioch is drinking wine and cursing the patriarchy, and the thoughtful article slid into my mailbox from Anna Hogarty, our campus fairy godmother, who I sometimes think knows me better than I know myself. It's making my way through a stack 2 feet high of Marxist books on race, poverty, and mass incarceration. It's Friday spent crying with my incarcerated friends in Dayton Women's Prison as they tell me what it's like to watch their children grow up without them. Antioch is forgetting to sleep and falling in love. Pieces of each of us made this place. We threw ourselves into the terrible, beautiful moments here, and this place ripped us up. It took who I thought I was and broke me into as many pieces as you can imagine. But then, in the gluing myself back together, I grew up. I did things that I never thought I could. I dreamed, and then I watched in amazement as those dreams became my life. I laughed, I cried, and I learned a whole hell of a lot. Antiochians, we want experiential learning, we don't want bullshit. We believe that the world should be our classroom and that experience is education. We want radical social justice fighters, we want feminists and anti-racists and anti-capitalists and queer love. We want this place to be what it promised us it would be. When we entered in 2012, we joined hands with thousands of fellow Antiochians and we stood for Antioch's rebirth with them. For 4 years, we helped build it with our hands and with our minds, and in the realest possible way. It exists because we willed it to. Antioch must be worth all that we have done to salvage it. Antioch has made us resilient. It has taken the best parts of who we are and made us stronger and braver and unstoppable. Thank you.